Good day, everyone. Welcome to Perspectives in Focus. I'm your host, James Hicks from HicksNewMedia. Today, we are focusing on, as we always do in Perspective in Focus, the people, industries, ideas, and technology that are making positive strides within society. Today's guest, Yvonne Hyman. She's family, so I'm not going to call her Yvonne. I'm going to call her Evie. Evie is a business efficiency consultant and mindset coach who has spent more than a decade helping her clients to organize, strengthen, and streamline their businesses. Along with the business efficiency focus, she is also a master NLP practitioner and coach. So she has the clinical, in-depth understanding of how the brain processes information. Today, we're going to talk about what it really means to be productive, what it really means to be efficient. And that doesn't necessarily always equate to being busy. Sit back, enjoy the session. Hopefully this is very engaging. I'm looking forward to a lot of questions and answers. Other than that, let's get into it.
You just aged me,
Hold
didn't
on.
you?
I didn't hear my intro, so that means
I
something's wrong. God dang! I'm not gonna blame it on the hosting platform. I'm gonna blame it on the multi streaming platform. Dang it, Restream. I
or you
still
are just
again
going
can't
way
hear
too
you, but
technical
I know
considering
you
all
are
the
talking.
technology you have on your desk.
This is brutal. Can
You
folks
hear me?
out there in these streets, can you hear Evie? And
Can
I
you
can't hear
hear
her.
me?
Okay, we'll figure this out. It's all good. I can read your
You can't
lips,
hear.
but I will also edit this out in Final Cut. So don't worry about it. I'm good at reading. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing great.
I'm not. I'm not. You know, I'm disheveled, confused. It's only 2:00, and what is it? It's Tuesday. You know, maybe it's just too
I,
early for me to be going live. I think that's what it is.
I think it's actually Monday because with the
Groundhog's Day.
technology we both had, I'm pretty sure it's Monday. I don't think it's Tuesday.
It's Groundhog's Day everywhere.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. Listen, first and foremost, though, I appreciate you for taking some time. I know you are incredibly active, incredibly busy, and that's your second, third cup of coffee today.
I behaved myself. It's only the second, but it's a much needed second today.
Much need a second. All right. I tell
Much
you what,
needed second today.
let's get focused. Let's get into it. I gave a little bit of an intro in terms of what it is that you do from a professional perspective, but for my community who may not be aware of who Yvonne Hyman is, could you give kind of that origin story of who, the what, and the why Yvonne Hyman is called Ask Evie?
Oh my God. If we go way back, what a lot of people actually don't know or starting to get to know is I started out as an electrician back in the day. Never thought I would actually work in an office setting and go live on video. That was never really the plan, if there ever was a plan. But yeah, moving to the States in 2007. Went back into into hospitality. Used to do it for ages. It's an easy start back up again, no matter which country you are in. And then got acquainted with my second husband and got introduced into the world of movie, feature-length film, TV commercials, all those kind of things, which led me down this path of digital media. It was the time right when video was switching from, you remember the tape video? You remember those days?
I'm not
Into
dating.
actual digital video.
Don't date
And I
myself like
got
that.
to experience live streaming when it wasn't digital live streaming to multiple. So like those TV vans that are going around and multi-switching literally with cables. That was quite interesting and fun. But yeah, with the need and being involved in my husband's business, I went down this path of social media, realized really fast I am not a social media manager. I'm fine with all the tools and systems and all the things behind it, but not coming up with content. Then moved into web design, and then ended up taking care of him for 2 years, putting everything pretty much on hold when he was going through cancer. And then when he passed away, I took stock. I'm like, what do we have? What do I like doing? What's happening in my business? And I realized really fast that people were coming to me for web design and they left with full on business coaching. And that's where Ask Evie started turning into what it is today. And that is business efficiency consulting, bringing technology in to make our life easier. And then my drive to understand people don't make sense to me. Technology makes sense to me. People
That's a
don't
whole.
necessarily
We should hold on. I'm
make
not
sense
going to
to
just
me.
that you just drop that right there and say
I
people
just
don't make
dropped that
sense.
right there. Yeah. But
Okay.
in that drive of wanting to understand people and not be like, why are you doing this? This doesn't make any sense. That's where my NLP training came in, where I initially did the practitioner training and then took it up a level to the master prac training, which then just opened up my mind to what drives people, how can we motivate people, and it's just started to also funnel into my business efficiency consulting, because tools are usually not the issue. When you're coming into a business and it's like, this is not working, we are not getting things done, it's usually not the project management tool. It's usually the people,
Okay.
which is
Okay.
not a bad thing. It just means we need to find out the data, what stands behind this, and how can we adjust accordingly.
So instead of, and I'm jumping far ahead, instead of blaming inefficiency, instead of blaming productivity kills on the tool, on the platform, on the Trello, the Asana, the ClickUp, or the whatever, we got to turn the mirror probably on ourselves and make sure that we know what it is that we're trying to manage, be productive about, be more efficient. Okay, I like where you're going there, and I appreciate you going into that. For folks who may not understand or may not know, and I never want to assume, can you talk a little bit about what NLP is and just what that stands for? Because again, I hate to assume.
No, I much appreciate it. I'm living it, so I often forget. It's starting to make more the rounds. So it's becoming more of a knowledge term, but I really, really appreciate you bringing that up, because it's not, quote, common knowledge yet. And let's be honest, we have how many abbreviation of how many things,
That's
and then
true.
they all mean
That's
different
true.
things. In my case, NLP stands for neuro linguistic programming, meaning how is our brain programmed and how can we tell by language how you process information.
Wow, that has so much to do with not just on a professional level, on a personal level, just on an everyday engagement level with
Yeah.
folks around us, right? If you understand first, not forget about the next person. If you understand how you work, how your brain
Yeah.
uh, handles information, right? Are you a visual person? Are you more of numbers and zeros and ones kind of person? But understanding your processing of information, that helps you be more effective, again, personal and professional, and then be more productive, efficient, and less busy. You see where I went there?
Also learning.
Come
So
on.
it feeds into everything.
Yeah.
So we have visual, kinesthetic, auditory, and auditory digital. So I'm an auditory digital.
Okay. It's
Stephanie
like
Lou
the
always
five
laughs
love
about
languages,
me.
right?
It's
It's
like
like the love languages.
it works similar. So, and what that helps you when you can determine how somebody processes information, it first of all helps you to build rapport with them, to really build a relationship with them. To Have you ever gone out with one of your favorite guys? You just go bunching beers at night, whatever it is, whatever you like doing.
It's gonna get
We
me in
girls
trouble
do
here on the
brunch on
line. Okay.
Sundays, right?
Yeah.
And there's a couple of people where back in the day, before I understood what was actually happening, Throughout the brunch, I realized my language changing. And not just my language changing.
Yeah.
Now suddenly I did do similar things or similar movements that one of my besties was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it is. And human nature is in such that we are looking for the same. We are looking for somebody that is like us. It feels home. Different is a fight or flight. You are different. Why are you different? Are you going to kill me? It goes
Mm.
back to our animal brain. So we are looking for similar. Now, if you educate yourself and you learn how to determine how people think and mirror that and build that rapport, they feel home. Now they're going to listen to you. They are not just going to listen to you, they're actually going to hear you too.
Mm.
How often have we been in a situation where it's like, I just said that, yet you are listening to that person? I
Yeah.
literally just said that 5 seconds ago.
Well, welcome to the corporate world. Yeah, corporate IT world. That is exactly what it is. I say a lot. Right? Are you talking to or talking at people? Right. So and that's I think exactly what you're. I know it's exactly what you're talking about, and the comfort in assimilation. Right. That's an interesting part. We may just go a whole different path here. We may forget about productivity and efficiency, but I'm seeing
But
a
it
tie-in.
funnels
So keep
it
going.
funnels into the
Yeah.
efficiency,
Yeah.
because if I, rather than spending hours and hours trying to explain to you what I'm trying to accomplish, if I can speak your language so
Mm.
that you not only listen to me but you actually hear me,
Here we go.
how many hours did I just save trying to make something happen? The same, especially you mentioned corporate is that big example, because you have so many people and you have so many managers and you have so many levels. If you can speak their language, kinesthetic, auditory, digital, visual, if I can mirror you, if I can build this rapport and I can make you hear, but not only that, if I also can align your personal values with my company values,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to work your booty off to make this happen, because it aligns with your goals. It aligns with what you want to have happen in your life.
Let me ask you something about this, because I asked this question a lot about we getting into it, folks. Man, listen, if you got questions for Evie, not for me, because she's the expert, subject matter expert. I'm just here pushing buttons and hoping that the audio works. Uh, my question is, again, with the world stopping for the last 2 years, how has that, if it has, changed kind of the dynamic of you being able to, or you even be able to teach and coach individuals and organizations how to get to that point, right? Zoom, Teams, WebEx, all of that is very difficult to, and you see me, I talk with the body a lot, right? So to actually portray and show a lot of that emotion. So has that caused you to kind of change your delivery of how you coach individuals and organizations, because we're stuck 800 miles away and all I got is a camera, right? As opposed to being able to walk around the room, shaking hands and kissing babies. I'm just wondering, has that changed kind of your approach to teaching organizations and individuals how to get folks to see that end goal, that message, right? That goal.
No, it hasn't changed how I approach it.
Hmm.
I've been digital for ages,
Mm-hmm.
so there has nothing changed.
Okay.
The last 2 years were actually of advantage to me.
Okay.
So you now suddenly had corporations that always fought the remote work approach, right? They've been fighting it for years. We've been doing it for how long now? It's possible. It's not a big deal. But it has brought up that need of building community, of having these conversations, because even though my approach hasn't changed, because I can do a lot of this digital, as long as you turn on your camera, we can do that. But it doesn't bring the same kind of energy that face-to-face does. So yes, me personally, I've been struggling to get that one-on-one energy. It is a different energy when you are with people in a room. But the last 2 years have shown us you don't have to be, I want to be, but you don't have to be, while showing companies remote is possible, while showing company that we do need to pay closer attention to our people, to the human in that equation, that people will not put up with everything anymore.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's interesting you mention it, because you also know what's happening behind the scenes. Book deal number 1 is just signed, which is more of a how-to book, but
Say that
we
one
are
more time.
also,
Hold on. Don't just, again, you glossing over these not gems, but these boulders you dropping. Say that
you
one
mean
more
book
time.
deal number
Put a little
1 is
bass in your
signed?
voice.
Yep. Book deal number 1 was signed yesterday, so I finally get to share that, which is ClickUp for beginners. So we will be,
Congratulations.
thank you. We will be talking about the implementation of a tool, but I am working on a secondary book, because when you look around right now, it's not tools. We have more than enough tools for everything.
Yeah.
We have 5 different, 10, 20, 50 different tools to do the same job. Yet humans leaving the workforce en masses.
Yeah.
Why? Because nobody gave a crap. It is finally switching. When you look at the news,
Yeah. Okay.
Airbnb.
Yeah.
Airbnb was just big in the news that are like, you can live wherever you want to, and we are not going to cut your pay. You want to go travel? Fine. As long as your job gets done, we don't care. Live your life now. And that was one of the big things for me. Why Ask Evie started is, after my husband passing away, it's like, life is too short to do the things you want to do tomorrow.
Oh, love that.
I let somebody else hold me back years after that, falling back into an old habit of, San Diego is too expensive. We can't make this happen. Guess what? I packed the U-Haul, and I did, because I don't know how old am I still going to be here in 5 years? I love San Diego. This is home. I have never been happier, no matter the daily struggles.
Yeah. You don't let it overtake you, and you keep it in perspective. I love that. Yeah. My goodness.
So
get other folks out of your own way. I mean, I'm going to say all of that. Okay.
The human is finally starting to become the center of attention. And before COVID, it was just a means to an end. How many people believe in that hustle mentality of, I need to work 24/7 to get somewhere? Yes, there's seasons, don't get me wrong. We all go through seasons. It's going to be seasons of growing something. It's going to be seasons of living something, slowing down, whatever it is. I do not believe in work-life balance.
Talk to me about that, because no, and that's interesting.
I keep throwing things at him. I gave
HP 20 years of my life, and I still have a picture of the rules of the garage in my office right now. And one of the mantras of Hewlett Packard was, have an effective work-life balance. Now, it meant something different for everyone, and I took it to mean something different. But I'd be curious just to hear your definition of why you don't believe in that mantra.
Because work-life balance has the touch of, here comes the workaholic out, of I have to take time off. I run a business that I love, that fulfills me. And I have friends that will never understand that. They will never understand that I do not have a problem, and it's not wearing me out working till 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night because I bit my teeth into something, because I found something new. I'm not going to feel bad about it, because I'm supposed to have work-life balance and take time off. As well as balance implies a balance. Life happens in seasons.
Yeah, y'all ready? I hope you got a piece of paper and a pen, folks, man. Professor Evie's in the building. Come on now, keep going.
And that's where it comes back down to language.
Yeah.
the words we use matter. And I think you actually in one of our chats were talking about my productivity versus efficiency video.
Exactly.
The language we use matters, and the word balance implies it's in balance, and the moment it's off, we are beating ourselves up because it's not in balance, which is why I do not like the word work-life balance, because there is never gonna be a balance.
I like that.
If
Okay.
it would be balance, it would be 50-50.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, what happens is, especially with entrepreneurs or startups or any business for that matter, especially look at seasonal businesses. No matter if you look at it in a week, if you look at it in a month, especially for us females, as well as a year, as well as potentially 10 years. Everything happens in seasons. One time something is higher up and then it's lower. If you get that energy of something new, a new idea, a new tool, a new place, whatever it is, you're going to spend more time in your business. If you are bringing up a new product, a new service, you are running through it, you are setting it up, you are beta testing it, you are getting a new camera. You're going to spend the next week playing around with the camera till you are set in. It's set up and it's fine. Things always happen in seasons.
Okay. That's a really powerful definition of that. And mine falls in line with kind of what you were saying. Because honestly, if you like and you love what you do, why do you have to pause or stop and go do something else? I'm already enjoying, I'm taking care of myself. I'm taking care of my family. I got the lights on and there's some bread in the refrigerator. So things are good. Why should I pause because I want to, again, configure this infrastructure in the studio, bring on some exciting guests, doing all of those things? Why step back and have to worry about some perceived balance?
Yeah.
If the balance is for me that I'm working, I'm enjoying my life, I'm doing what it is that I like to do. There's some financial reward to it. There's psychological, there's all of those things. Why you want me to stop? Right. So again, if I like what it is that I do, don't take a perceived needed break, vacation, pause, pivot, whatever word that you want to interject right there. So I appreciate your definition of what work-life balance is. I'm gonna keep my poster on the wall though, because I like the poster.
And it matters. Again, that's my perception of it. And I'm really into language. So I didn't grow up with English. And when I look at the differentiation between German language and English language, it's funny. And the translation is never right. Because you cannot translate one-to-one.
Get it wrong? It's our fault, right? We're still
imperialists. You can't translate one-to-one. It's the example I always use is, if I tell you to think of the color red, the chances are you are probably thinking of this red just because it's right in front of you.
Correct.
Chances are I'm going to think of the red of my hummingbird feeder, which are different shades, yet we use the same word, we use the same language. So there is so many different annotations that are happening where, again, coming back around to the whole productivity versus efficiency, understanding how people think and speaking their language, giving back their language. So when somebody is kinesthetic, using kinesthetic language to talk back to them, will cut that barrier in our brain where the animal brain is like, whoa, you're speaking a different language. We are speaking the same language.
Yeah.
I just simply not giving the exact words back to you. But the moment you do, that animal brain is like, oh yeah, you speak my language, I'm good. Fight or flight is off. No, there is no borders of, I'm not going to listen to you, I'm out of here.
And I see that a lot with folks. I can't, I'm not going to say I, but folks can't accept a direction, a process, or whatever the case may be. They hear it, but again, until I regurgitate it or say it in using my words, using my language, again, like you said, it's the exact same thing. But until I recite it in my slang or whatever, it doesn't resonate, right? There's no what's in it for me until I say probably exactly the same thing that you said in my words, and then we can be on the same page. And that's, I always am concerned about why, again, that's that red tape in the corporate world. Why does that delay always have to happen? Because we can't move forward until Evie says it the way that she wants to say when we're all talking about doing the same thing.
Yeah. That's where you need a communicator in the company, somebody that does know NLP, somebody that can be the in between. In corporate, it doesn't just come down to the language per se. In corporate, you have a lot of values that are going on, meaning CEO has their values of making sure that the stakeholders are all happy and they're getting paid, because if not, his life is going to be a mess.
Yeah.
Then you got the manager who wants their team to be productive so that he looks good with the CEO, because he wants to be home in the afternoon with his wife and kids without the CEO being on the phone of what's happening here. So it, especially in corporate, in that big amount of people all in one place, it's not only the language, which is a big piece, the motivator, getting past the animal brain that decides, do I like you or do I not like you? Am I going to listen to you or not? It also then funnels into aligning those values. So that's where corporate retreats often come in, or corporate training. If you bring in the right person to build those relationships, to align those values of those people with the company values, with the goals we have, where we are wanting to go. Because no matter how much I love your company, if there's nothing in it for me, I'm just going to spend my hours
That's
and
it. I'm
be
just
done
spinning
with
wheels.
my paycheck.
And that's the worst place to be. I think for both parties. I think for an organization and for the individual, right? If you're just sitting there watching the 9 to 5, watching the clock until it hits 5, and you're not getting that value, you're not getting any reward. It doesn't always have to be financial, but just
Nope.
the fact that you're doing a job or doing something, a task that you feel that you're providing a difference. Again, why have work-life balance if, again, that 9 to 5, you're actually getting some intrinsic value out of it? I love that delineation right there.
And when I talk about values, it doesn't necessarily just mean any award or money.
Mm-hmm.
There is Kelly Noble Mirabella is a great example. We both went through the NLP Master Prac. We elicit each other's values regularly to know why we make decision or align our decisions in our business with what we are actually going for. And her highest up value is flexibility.
Okay.
She'll never deal with a 9 to 5 and being locked up.
Yeah.
She wants the flexibility to be able to take care of her kids, whatever happens and whenever it happens. So when we talk about values, there is the difference between your perceived values and your actual values. One of the biggest ones that we often discover is that value of money. I was surprised that money itself is actually fairly high on my list of values. But because it means to me the things that I can do.
Right.
Now, eliciting values from other people, what often happens is that money, they think money is high on their values, but it's actually somewhere way down the list. But the things that money can get them is higher up.
Makes sense.
Now, that's how you also can motivate yourself. Especially being an entrepreneur, you have days where it's like, you know what? I just want to curl up in bed, hold a blanket over, and not deal with anybody. We all
Every other
have
day.
those days, right?
Well, I'm sorry. every other day today was like that. I'm just gonna say.
Yeah. And yesterday was that kind of day. Today is the aftermath. Tomorrow I'm back.
Yeah.
But knowing my values, I literally have my life and my career values right over there, which one of my career values is pride. So if I just deliver something blah, rather than the best possible thing I can deliver, I am not feeding into my pride. And pride doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing. But if I not do 150% in what I do, I'm letting that value down, which then is going to snowball back in me feeling like crap.
Go ahead, say what you want to say, girl. Look, it's been one of them days. Look, I've known you for too long. You say what you need.
We are going live. I don't want to get you kicked off of YouTube.
You know, have to put the explicit tag on this, man. I feel the exact same way. And listen, I'm looking at I see a ton of folks over on Twitter. Shouts out to my Twitter community, my audience. Come on over to YouTube so you can engage and interact with Evie and I and ask questions. Let me go a different path, kind of a similar conversation, because we talked about productivity, we talked about efficiency. I like the fact that you've got your plans written down, because if you've got your plans out of your head, which turns them into goals. That's for me, right? That's my definition, right? You think about it, so that's the plan. But when you actually write it down, there's a goal, because then you can measure it. You can see how you're getting from one critical path, one moment to the next. I love that piece. I want to talk a little bit about self-regulating and realigning with those plans, right? How do you move from those different seasons, right? When you have to do something different because maybe again the world shuts down, or maybe what if the book deal, not God forbid if the book deal didn't come through, right? I know, hush your mouth, James. Oh my gosh,
it's been a year in the works, a year.
So come
You're
on,
talking
let's
to
go
a
into
girl
that piece,
does not do well,
and kind of realigning. Let's get into that one, huh?
There is a lot of things going on in this whole self-regulating and pushing through. One of the big things I always keep coming back, simply because it is our main motivator, is our values.
Right.
That's what drives us. That's what keeps us going. And again, it's not necessarily the conscious values of I have family, I want my kids to have a better life, the standard. I promise you there is more underneath that. Where, again, in Kelly's example, it's flexibility. Yes, it is her family, but it's actually the flexibility. Now, the other side of this coin, getting through these seasons when they might not be easy seasons. Cleaning up your own mess.
There you go. Acknowledging that you have a mess to clean up. We
all have a mess to clean up.
Backtrack a little bit right there, right? I mean, that's even tough, just to acknowledge that you have a mess to clean up. But yeah, go ahead.
We all have, and if you think you don't have a mess, you have a bigger problem.
I got this. You don't even see the back of this room right here. I got a mess. So yeah.
Did I just call somebody in the audience out?
Yeah, look, again, man in the mirror right here, boy.
And it's an onion. It's when I started out this process with NLP, I went in it to have the tools to take care of my shit, because I have the analytical mind. I see the issues. I know exactly what's going on. Yet I'm going through the same circles over and over and over again. I'm like, this is insanity. Why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Literally, that's how I went into practitioner training. There's seeing my patterns, seeing the things that I'm doing, and realizing this is the definition of insanity. Something isn't right here. Why am I doing this over? But with that, starting to work on yourself and in multiple different areas. So that's where, for example, in my training, timeline therapy comes in.
Okay.
As a short example of what timeline therapy is, you are pulling out old situations, look at them out of a different perspective, and now suddenly you are leaving the emotions that was connected to it behind, and you are just keeping the learnings.
Okay.
We are emotional people.
Yeah.
We don't remember a specific situation second by second. We are memorizing the emotion that we connect with that situation. And that's what's holding us often back, because chances are it's a perception of an emotion.
Wow.
It's an emotion that we connected to it, maybe not even right in that situation. How many of our kids' situations that we have where we were little and you ask your mom, it's like, I remember, do I remember this right? I literally just asked my mom a month ago or something. I got stung by a bee. And I'm like, Mom, did I ever get stung by a bee? I remember sitting in a high chair and being stung in my throat. And she's like, no, you didn't, but I did under my arm.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I remembered piece of that, but it got distorted. And then potentially there's emotion set to it. As
And it shapes
parents,
it shapes your perception of things moving forward, doesn't it? Probably incorrectly, in your case, incorrectly. Okay.
so they all funnel with each other, especially in those first 7 years of our upbringing, where we might not understand yet. They are new parents. Nobody is perfect. They do the best they do the best they can with the resources they have, which we might see differently.
Mm-hmm.
So now suddenly we are carrying around some old emotions of every female out there probably has daddy issues.
Mm.
A lot of us do.
Okay.
Seems to be coming with it. We want daddy to see us, but if daddy is busy doing things, now suddenly there is certain perceptions that we internalize, connect an emotion to it, because that's how we store information. We store information through emotions. And now we are making decisions based on this emotion that is not even true.
Hold on. Pause this just for a second here. Let's let them. We store information through emotions, folks.
Mhm.
Y'all listening to this, right? Victor, we appreciate you for coming in, man. Yeah, yeah. I don't have a mess. I just checked the closet, but that's an incredibly introspective, again, person in the mirror looking. And I hinted at this earlier. You have to be aware enough to know when you have an opportunity that needs to be fixed. I don't want to say a problem. I don't even want to say a challenge. I'll call it an opportunity to either correct or an opportunity to
Be better.
as we says, self-regulate, maybe even realign to be better.
Yeah.
I like that. I just wanted to pause on that piece right there and let that marinate just a little bit. So I apologize for interrupting, but you dropping them out here. Goodness, where's my pen at? I need to be taking. Here we go. Okay, there we go. Go
Luckily,
ahead
you
with your
have the
bad stuff.
recordings.
I'm gonna be on the
But it's
replay
like,
squad myself here listening to this. So
and there is storing information in emotions. Just think about it. I'm pretty sure you have at least one song that brings up a memory.
I got it. I got a whole playlist. Listen, yeah, come on now.
For
You go.
me,
Don't
it's
make.
also
I've cried
smells.
on camera before. Don't make your boy. Okay.
For me, it's also smells. I
Oh.
am. So every single guy out there, you smell good and walk by me, your chances I'm going to invite you to a coffee. But yeah, we are anchoring information. We are anchoring memories
Mm.
with these kind of things. So being able to go back to these anchors, receive the learnings that happen there, keep those learnings and let go of the emotion. Now suddenly you peeled off one layer of this onion. And being able to also look at it this way. Our whole life is perception. The same thing that happens to me
Okay,
can
I agree
happen
with
to
that.
you, and you look at it completely different than I do because you have a different history than I do.
Mm. Okay. I agree with that. I completely agree with that. Yes.
Do you like vanilla or chocolate? Both the same exact thing. I definitely like chocolate. I'm not a vanilla fan.
Mm.
Same thing.
Hey, that's that NLP coming through, folks. If you're not listening,
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
late at night, Victor, my dad, myself, and everyone watching, we're gonna be laying in bed saying, "Man, Evie was coming through this," and so many different levels, I think, in terms of the
Yeah.
conversation right now. So we may be talking at even at 35,000 foot level, but when you take it into perspective and when you boil it down to your individual situations, again, you're in insecurities,
Mhm.
your perceived challenges, opportunities, struggles, whatever the case may be, and just some of the statements that you're saying and the way that you're saying, again,
Yeah.
that clinical usage of language that you're doing, I think is really something that's powerful right now, because you're saying, and it sounds very commonsensical. Is that a word? Well, it sounds it
We'll
sounds
make
very
it work.
straightforward, but when you digest and think about what it is that you're talking about, and how and the stories that you're telling and the examples that you're presenting, it's one of those old Arsenio Hall things that make you go, kind of situations right now. I just dated myself, but okay.
And that
I,
I still cannot believe I'm turning 40 this year. I do not feel like 40. Um, but that's where I know you watched the video. That's where my YouTube video came in with the whole productivity versus efficiency and
yes,
why I have such a when it comes to the word productivity. First of all, productivity in the sense of the word is checking things off the list.
yes. Come on,
And that
come on.
doesn't mean it's going to move you forward, especially when it comes to business, especially when it comes to life goals. I can be spending all Sunday checking off things off my list, like vacuuming and doing laundry and doing all the things. Does that put value into my house? No. Does that grow my business? No. Is it well spent time? Maybe.
True.
That's how I clear my head. Cleaning my place is cleaning my head and getting my head ready for the next week. Cool. Means we have accomplished what we want to accomplish. But productivity also is a procrastination mechanism
Mm, come
to
on.
stay away from something you should be doing or that might actually impact your business in a way that freaks you out.
Productivity is a procrastination method.
Can be,
Can be.
but often is, yes. Because we feel like we are getting something done. We are stroking the ego
Okay, come on.
of
I see. I see where you are.
check off.
Mm-hmm.
Have we actually had any impact?
So the to-do list, the rocket books, the any do's, I can name them all, right? Just saying you got your list accomplished for the day.
And I'm the
They're
one that posted a list this morning on my
pretty
Instagram
much,
story,
every
right?
every day you post a great list too, and I look at it, I'm gonna steal that too. I like that whole little vibe. I just need to get a cool picture of myself. Um, but does that really move? Is that moving the needle, or again, as you kind of alluded to, does that just stroke the ego? Does that just say, I moved the dirt underneath the rug? It's still there, right?
And
But
how many people it's
wow,
li- life story here on my business. Most people that come to me are in scaling phase. They have taken care of their business for the first 2-3 years, got it off the ground. They have a small team now. They are fully booked. All the clients are there and they are like, oh my God, Evie, I'm working 24/7. I can't even think. And I'm like, let's go look at your to-do list. How do you even decide what are you going to work on? Do you have your standard operating procedures? Are you outsourcing your work or are you still doing your everyday posting reactive on Facebook yourself? It is the same pain point every single time. When companies are struggling in this scaling process, don't get me wrong, we've seen it with ClickUp after raising $40 million and scaling. That is a pain point.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Because now suddenly they quadrupled. I don't even know how much bigger they got. They got from 50 people to, I don't even know, I think 500 or something like that. That will happen, especially in the startup when you have fast growth. The only way to be able to handle that is prioritize, be efficient, and get the shit out of your head, and for the CEO to step back and bring people in that are better at this.
There we go.
And every time somebody calls me and is like, oh my God, I need to get ClickUp implemented. And I'm like, where are your workflows? Right here? I'm like, that's the first problem.
Yeah, yeah.
ClickUp is not going to save your ass. We are not there yet. I would love to just put thingy on your head a la metaverse and just pull that information out of you. I can't.
Yeah. If you don't know it, how am I supposed to know it? And how am I supposed to tie it into a software application, right? To run your business when you don't know your business, your operating procedures. You don't have them written down. They're just, again, tribal knowledge inside your head. Come on. Okay.
And you can't optimize anything. Was just talking to my bookkeeper. She's like, damn, you're barely spending any money on your business. I'm like, yeah, because I don't need to. I'm a consultant. I'm keeping my costs down. I'm optimizing it. I can do that because I'm paying attention to my numbers.
Paying attention to our numbers. God.
How do you pay attention to your workflows and how things are getting done if they are in your head? How often? How often have you?
Now she's gonna put the business out there in the streets. Go ahead now.
We've all done it. How often? Anybody in the audience? Jump in the comment section. How often have you jumped on your laptop or your computer and said, "Oh yeah, I'll take care of that really fast in the next 5 minutes"? How often have you done that and then suddenly 2 hours were gone?
Putting both hands.
We've all been there. We've all done it.
Yeah.
But you cannot track something that is not written down because it comes back again to our perception. Can I spend the next 5 hours diving into a new tool, figuring out how this works and automate the crap out of it? Heck yeah, I can spend years. I have spent years on it.
Yeah.
Is it the best time spent? Only if I can apply it to my business and make something better on my clients.
The return, it's a price versus cost. And where's I'm summarizing for myself, for the people in the back of the room like me. It's price versus cost kind of situation. Yep. And if there's some type of value that comes out of spending that time and that effort, right? Where's the return on investment coming for you spending, like Victor saying, only 2
hours.
Right? If you spend half the day trying to figure out how to use it. Yeah.
What we do along those lines is we are creative. Whatever you perceive creative to be. One of the lessons I had to learn because I never considered myself creative. We all are, especially as entrepreneurs. Life throws stuff at us. We figure it out. That's creative. Now, people like us always come up with new ideas. In my sense, how can I optimize something? How can I automate something? How can I make this a system? All the things.
Right.
We look at Doc. Oh, I want to buy this and get this and implement this and do this and do here. We know him, right?
Right.
We all have our own ways of being creative and having thousands of ideas every single day. They first of all need to get out of your head because that just keeps your mind busy and you are not getting anything done. But then we also have a system that allows us to rate those ideas.
Yes.
Does it move our business forward?
There you go.
Does it even align with what we want to accomplish? Does it align with my values? How easy or difficult is it to implement? Is it a snap and something is optimized, or is it a year-long project? And then how much impact does it have on your business? If you come across an idea that does move the needle for your business, that is easy and quick to implement, and has a high impact, you got a unicorn and you better implement this right.
Stop everything and go ahead and put it in motion.
Take a weekend and just implement it.
Yeah.
And you will have those unicorns where it's literally like, okay, we were in a reactive mode and I have this freebie and I have this upsell and I have this course and I have this template and I do this. And then suddenly you sit down with one of your besties because somehow everybody else sees this, but we never see it on our own business. you connect all the dots and it's like, oh, I have like easily 3 sales funnels right here. I just need to connect the dots the right way. Sit down for a weekend, get it done, because it does have a major impact on your bottom line, because now you are not just being like, here's the information. We'll see if you ever call me to work with me.
Right.
Maybe not. Let's be honest. We need to tell people what they are supposed to be doing.
That's true. And don't
So
assume. I love that. Yeah.
it's all already there. You don't have to build anything. You just have to connect the dots right. But yeah, that's
Again.
where idealists come in, and then really categorizing of, does it have an impact? If it doesn't have an impact on your business, throw it out. Is it easy to implement? Is it difficult to implement? Is it difficult to implement? Plan on it. Set time aside, start implementing. Does it have a high impact on your business or a low impact on your business?
Yeah. And I would add in that something that we talked about earlier, you know, again, everything has their season, right? So if it doesn't have a good impact on your business today, shelve it, still document it, right? Again, don't just try to keep it in your head, because listen, I've been around the sun a couple extra times than you have, and things fall out of my head. If I don't write them down, I'll forget. But again, if you can't get that value, that intrinsic value, personally or professionally, out of something that you're looking to spend, like Victor said, not just 2 hours, maybe 4 hours, maybe the entire day on, why, right? Why spend your time? Why be busy being busy? Ooh.
Because it feeds the ego.
Come on now. Golly.
It feeds the ego.
Why be busy being busy?
Especially looking at the wrong data points. Bringing up one of my latest lessons. YouTube is a perfect metaphor for this. Everybody is going for subscriber count. Everybody is going for view hours. Bullshit. Mm-hmm. It's the wrong numbers to look at. The subscriber count feeds our ego. Don't get me wrong.
That's true. That's
being able to step out there and be like,
appreciate you saying that. Yeah, go ahead.
5K, 10K, 20K, heck yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
And YouTube doesn't make it that easy. I'm an ego person here. Who doesn't want to have 10K subscribers on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
And it's difficult for me to put that ego aside, because I'm going for the people, which means even if my views potentially are down, even if my subscriber count is not necessarily where I want it to be, the impact I'm making is the impact in the video. So yes. Average view duration is the number you need to look at. How long do people stick around? Do they stick around for 20% of your video, or do they stick around 40% of your video? Do they stick around 60? Do they stick till the end? It's an average, so you're never going to get 100%.
Yeah.
But that's the number that matters, yet YouTube is making it really difficult for us. Now, cross-mapping that to your business, it doesn't matter how much revenue you are making. I'm a 6-figure business. I could go out there and market, go make how to build a 6-figure business. Who the hell cares? If you are spending those 6 figures to make this 6-figure business happening, you are living out on the street.
You're not living in Dago like you. That's true. Come on now.
So really, and I am an ego-driven person. I like to be told the impact that I'm making on people. I want to make a change. I want to impact people's life. I want to leave a legacy. I don't have kids. I don't plan on having kids. This is my way of leaving a legacy. So yes, I like my ego stroke. Don't get me wrong. I like getting testimonials from my hosts, from my clients, being told the impact that I have on people. But I also need to keep that ego in check and make sure I'm paying attention to the things that really matter, and not just go after numbers that, in the end, don't matter shit.
Don't mean a thing. But I'm listen, I'm gonna give you these flowers right here though. Hold on. You fed right into this. Folks, go to ClickUp.com, go into the consultant, and ladies and gentlemen. Ooh.
Can't miss that orange jacket.
Right, man, right there. There she go right there. Multilingual, available all times of the day and night, whenever you need. But make sure you set up an appointment. Contact Yvonne right here for business efficiency consulting and team training.
Oh yeah.
To design human-centered project management systems using ClickUp that seamlessly integrate with existing tech stacks. Good Lord, come on now.
I worked on that. That took me a little bit to polish that one up.
Yeah, that sounds good. Is that new? Because that whole thing wasn't there about a month ago when it was
there, but not with that description. We just updated that description about a couple of weeks ago or something like that.
Yeah, that's pretty dope.
I'm finally owning my awesome and bringing the whole NLP more into my business. I've done it behind the scenes. I've always looked at the bigger picture and how everything funnels together. To me, the years that I've worked with ClickUp and in ClickUp setups, I always started out with what is happening in the business, where are the issues, how does that feed into everything you do and not just working in a silo. Stephanie Lou would be laughing at me. She's my NLP coach. It took me about a year to own all the things that I have been working behind the scenes with my clients already and just finally publicly promoted to. And there again, peeling off the layer and just working on ourselves, trying to be the best self we can at every single day.
And you killing it out here in these streets right here, in these efficiency streets. This is where, folks, I need you to go. I'm gonna put it in the description, askev.com. This is the hub for contacting, for understanding what it is that she does when the world opens back up, getting her out there at one of your conferences, out there in front of the audience. Dynamic speaker. But let's close with this, because I wanted to ask about the relationship with ClickUp, and then we talked about that. I wanted to talk about the self-regulation and the realignment. That was an amazing piece of discussion right there. But I know the book deal is here now, but what's next, right? Again, what's this next season of Yvonne Hyman coming in terms of pushing the message, helping not just businesses, but I want to talk about what's this next season for helping individuals understand their worth, understand they're awesome, understand that there's a difference between being busy, being efficient, and being productive. What do you got coming up on the pike next? That's a lot. I know. I just hit you with it. I just hit you with a hard.
Trying to just balance it. Book number 2 will feed into this, but we are in the proposal stage. And if anybody out there knows publishing houses, that might be another 6 months. When did you decide that? That's another NLP thing of perception. When did I actually decide that it's going to take 6 months? I don't know. We are working hard on that. That is definitely going to be a great resource. My YouTube channel is changing to not just being how to actually implement this with tools, but also diving way deeper into the thought patterns and the processes and the human aspect behind it. So on my YouTube channel, you're going to be able to find how do you implement these changes into a tool and practically implement this in your business. But also what's the human aspect? One of the latest videos was that whole productivity versus efficiency. I've been talking about human project management over there, where it's not the tool, but how are we actually working best in the sense of project management with humans? We are the weak link. That's not a bad thing, but it's one tool. It works that way. If I check it off, I know the task is done. Humans are not that simple, which simply will mean we are always, I don't want to call it the weak link, but we are the point that you never can predict. Okay. So what can we do to predict it the most possible way, to plan for unpredictability. So in big companies, how do I work better with my team? As an entrepreneur, how can I set my business up for my own unpredictability? Especially with us females out there, we have a week in the month that we are potentially completely unusable. So how can I build my business
Yeah.
around knowing that
Come on, real
unpredictability?
talk. She talking real. Yeah.
So that's where the YouTube channel has been gonna be going. So
I
stay
love that.
tuned on social media when I finally publicly can announce the book, and that's gonna be really fun.
I just want a signed copy. And listen, I just want, hardcover signed copy wrapped in. I don't know. I just
Book
need I
number
need it
one
I need it
comes
back here on
out.
my shelf. I do need it.
I need to trying to recall. I think mid-end January is the planned publish date for book number one.
Okay.
So Lily just signed the contract, starting to write.
I heard that. Man, I'm gonna pour out a little scotch for you tonight, just in celebration, and I'll send you a photo. Me and my scotch, just celebrating Evie.
Heck yeah.
This is cool. I thank you for this conversation. I thank you
Thanks for having
for
me.
giving me stuff to think about. I thank you for giving the audience, my community, something to think about, and for those who were brave enough to ask questions. I know that there's a lot of dialogue and there's a lot of introspective that's going on just with the conversation that we had here. So I trust and I hope and I'm certain that folks got value out of this discussion. So we did what we needed to do. You did what you needed to do. Again, I'm just here, the Wizard of Oz, pulling strings and chords, and again, hoping that the technology that didn't blow up on me here. We'll find out after we live and I go through post. You're good. You're good people, even. You really are. And I wanted to give you those flowers as well. I want to thank you for the opportunity to have this conversation with you, and continued good luck with everything that you're doing. Best wishes.
I love nerding out like this. Thanks so much for having me.
We're gonna do it again.
Heck yeah. I'm
Yeah.
in anytime.
Done. We out.